Good morning, class members. We thank God for another beautiful day. Our topic today is titled Paragraphing. Uh, Before now, most of us have been engaged in different writings, probably letter writing, essay writing, writing of articles, and what have you. A piece of writing, the process of writing is like the process you undergo when you are erecting a building, because the building is made up of interconnected compartments, and these interconnected compartments are connected to one another in a systematic and organized ways by building engineers and experts. In the same way, when you are writing, your writing is done consists of different parts but interconnected. Now, these different compartments are regarded as paragraphs in a piece of writing. The constructed paragraphs are relatively connected to form a whole body of composition. For instance, every piece of writing consists of a series of paragraphs, such as opening paragraph, the body paragraph, and the concluding paragraphs. So, developing and writing a good paragraph is a necessary skill that every student of English must acquire. Now, the question is, what is a paragraph? A paragraph usually consists of two or more sentences that express only one distinct idea or main point. Please take note. A paragraph usually consists of two or more sentences that expresses only one distinct idea or a main point. The main idea is often embedded in the topic sentence. Now, let me separate it so that you don't get confused by the technicalities. When we say a paragraph, a paragraph can be made up of 2 sentences, can be made up of 5 sentences, can contain 6 or 7 sentences, depending on what is on the mind of the writer. But the main point is every paragraph carries one main idea it expresses that the reader must understand, and it is the duty of the writer to craft the paragraph, the main idea he wants the reader to understand in the paragraph, in the sentence called main and topic sentence. Now, why is it called a topic sentence? Because it is the most important sentence in the structure of a paragraph. For example, if a paragraph consists of just 2 sentences, one of those 2 sentences will be the carrier of the point that the writer wishes to express. Now, a topic sentence is that single sentence in which the main idea is presented by the writer. So the topic sentence may appear at the beginning of the paragraph, it may appear in the middle of the paragraph, and it may appear at the end of the paragraph. It is the prerogative of the writer to decide the positioning of the topic sentence. But the key point I want you to note is that there is no paragraph without a topic sentence, because it is the driver of the main point in the paragraph. So all other sentences are subordinate sentences that help the readers to connect the dotted lines being expressed in the topic sentence. However, some writers, either inadvertently or due to lack of knowledge, write an essay in one long, big, overbloated paragraph. I don't know, maybe I've come across an essay from the introduction to the conclusion is just one paragraph. It's a bad writing style. Why? Because every writer cannot just write just to express one idea. At least there must be 2 ideas, or one main idea and one subordinate idea. So Each paragraph now represents one main idea being expressed by the writer. Please don't forget, our focus is on paragraphing. How do we structure our paragraphs? What makes a good paragraph, and what determines the effectiveness of our writing? So if your writing is done in one lump sum paragraph, it's going to cost you a lot of marks, because you have not expressed, because you would have modeled together, put together different points and ideas that may end up, rather than help the readers to understand what you are saying, but it will not end up marring or obstructing the meaning, the message you are trying to pass across. Another point I want you to note is that the length of a paragraph is not fixed. As I said earlier on, a paragraph consists of just 2 sentences, one topic sentence, another subordinate sentence, and the second one subordinate sentence. While a paragraph may consist of 10 sentences, depending on what the writer is constructing. So the number of sentences can range from 2 to 10. So it is not fixed. Now there are 2 different styles of writing a paragraph. Or let me put it this way: there are 2 different styles of writing paragraphs. We have what we call the indented style, and we have what we call the block style. Please take note: the indented style and the block style. Now I will begin with the indented style. The indented style of writing is that type of writing, is the traditional way of writing that most of us were used to before the invention of technology. So the constructing the paragraph usually begins inward, about some centimeters away from the margin line. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate it with something here for you, to tell you how to show you what an indented paragraph is. An indented paragraph oftentimes begin this way. You want to write an essay. Now, you want to write an essay, or you are writing a letter. How do I know which one is an indented paragraph? Now, this is the margin. You now move in like some centimeter to begin your writing this way. Then you now start from the margin. When you get to the next line, to this way, to the end. That is what is called indented paragraphing. The first line moves away from the margin, inside like 3 or 4 centimeters away from the margin line. This is what is called the margin line. So by the time you start your writing, you now begin it from this side. It is called indented paragraphing. So it goes on like that, on like that, on like that till the end, before you now go to the second paragraph. By the time you start the second paragraph, you move away from the margin again. You now move inside some centimeters inside again, and you go on like that and like that. That is called indented style of paragraphing. So this is what we often do whenever we are writing. But I'm sure when you go to computer centers to type your letters, maybe application letter, job application letters, or you are writing an essay, you want to type it to submit as an assignment to your lecturer, you often find out that those business owners at business centers often write in using what? Beginning from the margin. So by the time you find a composition that begins from the margin line, the first line of the paragraph, and ends at the other margin, then the next line begins a line along the same line and end on this like that till line 4 or 5. It is called block style of paragraphing. So the block style of paragraphing is that which begins from the margin line and ends and follows on the second line like downward, unlike the first indented style of paragraphing. So that is what is often, now what I often use to differentiate is that whenever you are writing, you can adopt any one, in as much as you are consistent with it. You start your writing with indented paragraphing. You shouldn't deviate by the time you are writing the second or the third paragraph to now block style paragraph. No. If your first paragraph, your introductory paragraph begins as a block form or in a block style, please be consistent with it. If you intend to write 5 paragraphs, let the 5 paragraphs consist of block style paragraphing. And if you had started with the in-depth paragraphing. Let it continue like that till the end. Now, I'm sure you have read some essays or some letters by some people. You are wondering, what is this person saying? Part of the reasons you could not understand what the person is saying is because the person has constructed the paragraph without paying due attention to some qualities. Apart from the styles and the sentences that form a paragraph, what are the qualities of well-structured paragraph? Now, one of the qualities of well-structured paragraph is what we call unity. I said earlier on that a composition may consist of 3, 4, 5 different distinct in the sense that they are not discrete. They are distinct because they are what? They are individualistic. Paragraph 1 talks about one main idea, one distinctive idea, while paragraph 2 talks about another distinctive idea, while paragraph 3 talks about another distinctive idea, before the paragraph 4 now becomes the conclusion. Now, these 3 or 4 paragraphs must work together in unity. So they must connect. Not that you are talking about political situations in Nigeria in paragraph 1. You now move into the religious sector in paragraph 2. We now talk about commercial activities in paragraph 3. Without what? That is a good example of a disunited paragraphing style. So such mix-ups will end up marring your ability to construct a good composition. So one of the key things you must pay attention to is unity in my paragraph. Is my paragraph 1 related? In fact, the sentences in the paragraph must be referring to the top. What is expressed in the topic sentence? That is unity. You know that they say, can two work together except they agree? So let your paragraphs be in unity, in a whole form, in a united form. Number 2 quality that makes a well-structured paragraph is completeness. For a paragraph to be complete, it must develop the main idea to the fullest. The idea is in the mind of the writer, so the readers do not know what is in your mind, and you don't expect the readers to know. So it is your duty to make sure that the idea you are expressing in each paragraph is expressed to the fullest. So the writer should not say so if, for example, the distinct idea, what we are saying is the distinct idea should be sufficiently discussed by the writer. That's why the number of sentences in the paragraph are not fixed. Okay. Number 3 is emphasis. Another quality of a good well-structured paragraph is emphasis. Emphasis should be given to the main idea in each paragraph as it makes the controlling idea. One paragraph expresses one main idea, and all other sentences should revolve around that main idea. That is what is called emphasis. Before you move to the second paragraph, it is when you have sufficiently discussed the first paragraph before you now move to the second paragraph. Then the fourth key point that I want us to talk about, a quality is of a well-structured paragraph, is coherence. What is coherence? Coherence involves the careful arrangement of sentences and the paragraphs in a logical and clear manner. The careful arrangement or connection of sentences and paragraphs in an essay in a logical and clear manner. I gave an example earlier on that you shouldn't start with the first paragraph talking about political situation in Nigeria, then the second paragraph you now deviate into religious situation religious intolerance in Nigeria, while the third paragraph you now talk about commercial activities in Nigeria. No, each of them can be sufficiently discussed as an essay, as a composition. Politics is a big area, so you have to discuss that separately. So if you want to write on religious activity, it should be done separately. So for you to achieve coherence, that cohesion in your essay, you should be able to ensure that all the paragraphs are connected in some ways, and there are items that will help you to achieve coherence in your writing. Number 1 is what we call this method that will help you to achieve coherence is what we call transitional markers. Coherence is not just achieved by imagination. Coherence is made possible through transitional markers. One of them is what we call additive transitional markers. From the word additive, from the word addition. What it means is that you give the readers an idea that you are adding another point. Therefore, they are called additive transitional markers. We have examples like moreover, furthermore, additionally, besides, similarly. For instance, in addition to, all of these show what? Addition. That you are adding some items in a new paragraph. Then another one is contrastive transitional markers. From the word contrast, it means that you are now providing contrary information to what has been previously stated or what is expected. So we use this to, how do we create a sense of contrast? We use the following words such as yet, though, however, nevertheless, in spite of, as a matter of fact, on the other hand, by contrast, or on the contrary, in any case or otherwise. When you find such expressions, they are known as contrastive transitional markers. So you are transitioning from positive to negative, or from negative to positive. That is why it is called transitional marker. You are transiting from a point A to point B. So that is another way of achieving coherence in your paragraphing construction. Then the third one is causative transitional markers. These causative are intended to express the relationship of cause and effect, result and intention, or conviction. So these markers help you to expatiate or affirm your arguments. And we have examples of causative markers, including consequently, so, therefore, hence, as a result, accordingly, meanwhile, and the rest of them. So lastly, on the qualities of a paragraph is clarity. In everything you do as a writer, clarity should be your focus, because the writing represents you whenever the reader is reading it. So you will not be there to explain what is on your mind. Every piece of writing should be able to communicate to the fullest the ideas in the mind of the writer. And clarity means what? Clearness of expression in communication. Not everybody who writes communicates. Some people write just because they have been forced to write. Some people write just because there is an opportunity to write. So due diligence is not done to writing when your writing is not clear to your readers. So clarity makes your work, your expressions to be easily understood by the readers. Your focus should not be sending your readers to the dictionary every time. Some of us want to be like Showole Soyinka, using the words of iron and its sentences of thunder. No, because you will get your readers bored, and they will be distracted, and they may even in this age of little attention being paid to reading. You have to learn to communicate with clarity. It is not an option, it is a must. Now let me just go through the five qualities of well-structured paragraph. Number one, again, I said number one is unity. Number two is completeness. Number three is emphasis. Number four is coherence. While number five is clarity. Now, what are the structures of a paragraph? Like I said earlier on, the structures of a paragraph are in two: the topic sentence and the supportive sentences. The topic sentence cannot be two in one paragraph. So every structure of a paragraph only carries one topic sentence. All other ones are supportive sentences. So the supportive sentence can be 1, can be 2, can be 5, can be 8, depending on the choice of the writer. So the writer retains the prerogative, that is the prerogative of the writer to choose whether his paragraph will consist of 2 sentences or 5. However, number of sentences you have chosen, your topic sentence can only be 1, while others are considered to be supportive sentences. Lastly, but not the least, is what are the strategies for paragraph expansion? Number 1, you use definition. How do I make my paragraph bulky or big? Because some of us, we are confused as to how we can expand our paragraphs. For example, maybe you have been asked to write an essay. Maybe you're writing an international exam, or a professional exam, or a promotional exam, or an entrance examination, and you cannot escape writing. When you are faced with these 4 types of examination: promotional examinations, international examinations, entrance or qualifying examinations, or whatever exam you are writing, most of these exams will require a composition. So one of the ways by which you can expand your paragraph is the use of definition. You can define a word. I was listening to a debate competition on radio yesterday, where one of the debaters had to define what is ethical. It's also a way of expanding his point. However, the other debater just went on assuming that every reader should know what is unethical, whereas the second speaker in the opposition side had to define it. So you can use definition to expand your paragraph. 2, you can cite relevant quotations. It is allowed. If there is a quotation that you heard maybe on Sunday or in your place of worship or at home or when you were reading, you can jot them down in your phone or in your jotter. You can use them to expand your paragraph. You can use proverbs saying that you are familiar with. It is often said that uneasy lies the head that wears the golden crown. On the basis of this, I want to write on this. By doing so, you have already prepared the mind of your readers as to what is next. So it's a way of expanding your paragraph. It is allowed. You can also ask a question. Asking a question is not forbidden in your paragraphing. Is it true that to err is human and to forgive is divine? My essay today will dwell on this. So you have prepared the ground, you have prepared the minds of your readers. Another one, you can also use analogy. You can use examples. Maybe you have even, after your topic sentence, you can say, for example, I have experienced a situation where A, B, C, D happened. You can also make an illustration. So I'm going to take the strategies for paragraph development. You can use definitions, you can use relevant quotations, you can use proverbs, you can ask questions, you can make use of exemplification, and you can also make use of illustrations. Thank you for your time. I'll be waiting for your comments, your questions, or your observations regarding this video. Thank you.